Before we start presenting our video, let I introduce you guys to my grouping members.
You already know who is our group members, so let's proceed with our main purpose. The topic that we want to discuss is demand. First, we must know what is demand. Demand is the ability of willingness to buy specific quantities of goods in a given period of time at a particular price. So, once you know what is demand, we can go more further to learn about demands. So, let's go! Next, I want to tell you about law of demand. There are two laws of demand. First law said, when the price of product is higher, the quantity demand of the product will be lower. Second law said, when the price of product is lower, the quantity demand of the product will be higher. Next, classification of goods and services. There are four classifications of goods and services. First, free goods. Free goods is the goods that offered by nature and it has unlimited supply and no price tag. For example, air, sunlight, and rainwater. Second classification is economic goods. Economic goods is goods that made by man, has limited supply and has price tag. For example, pen, shirts, and books. Next, public goods. Public goods is a goods that allow the entire community to enjoy the benefits, such as public transport and roads. The last classification is services. Services is intangible goods which cannot be seen or touched, like education and security service. Then, the types of goods. There are four types of goods, which is inferior goods, necessity goods, normal goods, and luxury goods. First, inferior goods. Inferior goods is an economic term that describes a good whose demand drop when people income rise, for example, broken rice and instant meat. Another type of goods is necessity goods, which is a goods that consumer will buy regardless of the change in their income, like rice and bread. Next, normal goods. Normal goods is a goods that experience an increase in demand due to a rise in consumer income, such as clothing and shoes. Lastly, luxury goods. Luxury goods is a good for which demand increase more than proportionally as income increase, such as jewelry. Next, related goods. There are two related goods. First is substitute goods. Substitute goods is goods that serve as an alternative to each other, such as coffee and tea. Second, complementary goods. Complementary goods is the goods that must be used together, like coffee and creamer. Next, I will tell you about individual demands and market demands. These two demands, we can see the difference at their schedule and curve. For individual demand, we can see that the schedule shows the quantities that a consumer willing to buy at a different price, and its curve is downslope from left to right. For market demand, the schedule shows the horizontal summation of all the individual demand in the market at certain price level and certain time period. The time curve for market demand is more flatter and wider than individual demand.
Now we will discuss about the determinants of demand. There are 8 determinants of demand. The factors that influence demand are firstly the price of related goods. Basically, there are two types of goods, which is substitute goods and complementary goods. Substitute goods are goods or service that can be used in place of another product or service. For example, tea versus coffee, orange versus apple, burger versus pizza, and so on. When the price of good A increases, it will push the quantity demand for good B to increase. This is because, as a consumer, they of course want to pay less. For example, when the price of tea increases, people will find substitute good for tea, which is coffee. Thus, the quantity demand for coffee will increase. So, when the price of tea is increased, the quantity demand for coffee will increase. So, we can conclude that the price and the quantity demand for substitute goods are positively related. Next, complementary goods are goods that use in conjunction with another product. For example, pen and ink, car and petrol, bread and butter. When the price of good A increases, it will push the quantity demand for good B to decrease. This is because consumers want to pay less. For example, when the price of tea is increased, the quantity demand for sugar will decrease, as both goods are used together. So we can see that the price and the quantity demand for complementary goods are negatively related. The next factors that influence demand are income. When the consumer's income is higher, the quantity demand for normal and luxury goods will increase and vice versa. For example, when the consumer's income is higher, they can afford to buy normal and luxury goods. Therefore, the quantity demand for normal and luxury goods will increase. For example, when the consumer's income is higher, therefore, the quantity demand for diamond will increase. Furthermore, if income of consumer is higher, the demand for inferior goods will decrease. The other factors that influence demand are taste and preference. Taste and preference of consumer change significantly. If a product becomes more fashionable and trending, the demand for it will increase, and if the same product becomes outdated, the demand for it will fall. For instance, when the consumers prefer to choose from good A to good B because of few reasons, automatically the quantity demand for the new goods will increase. For example, a consumer changed their favorite smartphone brand from iPhone to Huawei due to Huawei has a better camera features. Thus, quantity demand for Huawei smartphone will increase. The next factors that influence demand are festive seasons. During festive seasons, different products will be in high demand. For example, during Hari Raya, Festivities, the demand for lemang will be greater, whereas during Chinese New Year, the demand for mandarin orange will be greater. Next, the size of population also become the factors that influence demand. When the market size is increased, the quantity demand for the good and service will increase. For example, when the population in Ipoh is increased, so automatically the quantity demand for goods and service such as entertainment, healthcare, mobility, and so on will increase.
Next, factors that influence demand are expectation. When the consumers expect the price for that good will increase by next month, the quantity demand at the present time will increase. For example, the society expects the price for sugar will increase next month. Automatically, mindset of the consumers do not want to pay more, and the quantity demand for sugar will increase rapidly in that present time. Next, level of taxation. The higher the tax, the lower the purchasing power of consumers and vice versa. This will lead to decrease in demand. For example, if the government reduces income tax by 10%, consumers will have more money to spend on goods and services. This increases the demand for goods and services. Lastly, supply of money in circulation. The larger the supply of money in circulation, the greater the demand for goods and services because consumers have more money to spend. Next, we will discuss about interrelated demand. Firstly, joint demand. It applies to the demands for complementary goods. When the demand for radio control cars increase, the demand for batteries will also increase. Secondly, competitive demand. It applies to the demand for substitute goods. When the demand for Air Asia flights increase, the demand for Malaysian airline flights will decrease. Thirdly, derived demand. The demand for factors of production is derived from the demand for its output. The demand for more bricks is caused by the demand for more condominiums. And lastly, composite demand. It refers to goods with multi-purpose products. Example, rubber is used to make shoes, tires, household products, and others.
Thank you to my groupie members for their information. Now, I would like to proceed with the last subtopic for demand, that is change in quantity demand versus change in demand. Change in quantity demand means change in the specific quantity of a good that buyers are willing and able to buy, while change in demand means a shift in consumer desire to purchase a particular good or service irrespective of a variation in its price. From the video, we can see that change in quantity demand graph. First, the graph movement along the demand curve. Second, occurs when a price of a product change. Third, other factors constant. Fourth, for upward movement, the decrease in quantity demand would happen and it is called as contraction. And fifth, for downward movement, the increase in quantity demand would happen and as known as expansion. Next, the graph shows the changes in demand. First, the graph shift in the demand curve. It occurs when there are changes in other factors such as population, income, price of related goods, and others. When the graph increases in demand, it will shift to the right. If price of substitute good increases, price of complement goods decreases, income increases for normal goods, expected future price increases, number of buyer increase. For decrease in demand, the graph will shift to the left if price of substitute goods decreases, price of complement goods increases, income decreases for normal goods, expected future price decreases, and number of buyer decrease.
So, at the end of this video, I can conclude that demand is very important in our life, especially to economic activity. Furthermore, demand is a representation of a consumer's desire to purchase goods and services. Lastly, demand will impact price of goods and services. So, that's all from us. Thank you for watching, and I hope this video will benefit you guys in the future. Thank you.